In this video, we will show you how to replace your cooling fan assembly on this Ford Fusion with a 3.0 liter engine. This will be mounted along the front of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we'll do is carefully make our way underneath the front of the vehicle. We're going to have to remove a lower plate. Now underneath the front of the vehicle, we're going to continue on with removing this plate that makes its way all the way across. You'll find it's held in place with several 7mm headed mounting bolts, and it will also have a few push clips that make their way across as well. Let's start with the 7mm mounting bolts. With all those broken free, we'll continue on to those push clips. For the push clips, you'd want to use a trim tool or small prying device. Start pulling out the center. That'll unlock the push clips, and then you should be able to remove the outer portion. Just go ahead and give that a quick inspection and set it aside. If the two pieces came apart, you can slide them together. Just leave it in the unlocked position. Make sure you're holding onto the plate as you remove the final one. Slide the plate out of place and set it aside. Now that we have the shield out of the way, let's continue on with a trim tool or prying device. We're looking along this area. You can see that we have our transmission cooler lines, and those go below the fan assembly. Use your prying device and make your way in between this area, gently separating it, being careful not to damage anything. Make our way over here. Sometimes the lines just pop out of the brackets, but either way, the brackets do need to be transferred over to the brand new fan assembly. Let's continue on to dislodging this area. You're going to find that you have a metal bracket that holds onto the fan shroud assembly. Go ahead and pry this out of the way. We're being careful not to damage our rubber hose. You can use a prying device, an angled pick, whatever you might happen to have. Just try to make your way underneath these ears and gently separate them. Let's make our way looking up inside this area. We're looking for the fan control module. This has an electrical connector along the bottom. To unlock it, go ahead and squeeze on both sides. Give it a little wiggle and pull it down and out of place. Give each end a quick inspection for corrosion and set the wiring harness aside. Next, you can move directly above it to the next wiring harness. For this one, it does have a lock in the center. Squeeze that in, we'll give this a little wiggle. Quick inspection, set the wiring aside. Now that we have this separated, we can make our way back up top. We're looking for the wiring harness that comes all the way across the front. Starting over on the driver's side, let's continue with this electrical connector. Use a small pick or small screwdriver to dislodge the little lock. A quick inspection. Now we'll continue on with a trim tool or a small prying device. There will be several areas that we will have to pry out of place. We'll get the last one down over here. It's right about this area. I'm just going to switch up my pry bar a little longer here. There we are. Now let's make our way down inside this area. We're looking for the fan control module. We've already disconnected the electrical connector, but along the top of it, there's a T25 Torx screw that we will have to remove. The screw out of here. There's my bolt. This module out of here. When you do this, typically you just tip it, and then you can slide it up and out. We'll just give this a quick inspection and set it aside. Now just above that area, we have an electrical connector that we will have to dislodge from the fan assembly. Go ahead and pry that out of place. Ours is pretty much broken. Let's use a pry bar, make my way in between. At this point, we can start dislodging the fan assembly. Along each side, you will find that you have a locking tab. The one that's over on the driver's side is easier to see. You can go ahead and depress on that tab, and once you've done so, you should be able to start lifting up on the fan assembly. Now that I have this side broken free, I'm going to continue on and do the same thing over on the passenger side. At this point, we can start lifting it up. You may find that it binds up on some hoses or cables. Just be careful not to damage anything along the way. There it is, friend. Let's set this aside. Okay, let's prepare to install our fan assembly. Carefully take this and put it in position in the engine compartment, being extremely careful for the cooling fins on your radiator. We'll slowly work this back and forth as necessary, being extremely careful for any wiring as we continue. Carefully start working this in here. Just work it a little bit back and forth. Now, as we bring it down, on the radiator itself, it does have 4 hooks. There's 2 along each side that pretty much face up like this. We're going to be dropping the fan down along that area, sliding it into the clips along the bottom. As we come along the top, it does have those little locks. So once we press it down, we'll just confirm that it is properly locked in. Now we can continue on with our cable. You can see some of the mounting points up across the top. There is the one that's down in this area. We'll just carefully press that down into position. Make our way up along the top here. Got our wiring harness. Now we'll insert our control module. When we do so, we're going to take the bottom, slide it into place on the fan. After that, we'll continue on with our T25 Torx screw. When bringing this down, we'll make sure we have it in the proper positioning with the wiring harness area facing down. Once that mounting bolt is bottomed out, confirm that it's completely secured against the shroud. Now we can reconnect in our electrical connectors. We'll be doing the top one from up top here. We can do the bottom one once we're back down along the bottom of the vehicle. We'll just take this and press it into place. Typically it will be held up against the fan assembly itself. Just go ahead and line up those 2 connector pieces and press them in. Press it in, listen for a click. This should be mounted directly to the fan assembly. If your clip is broken for some reason, you can continue on with a wire tie of some sort. Now from underneath the vehicle, we're going to reconnect our fan module. We'll make our way down along the bottom, take that connector and slide it up into place. Press it in, listen for a click from both sides. We'll give it a light tug to make sure that's completely secure. Let's start resecuring the lower radiator hose to the bottom of the fan assembly. We'll just carefully take this and put it in place, slide it onto the fan. The next thing we'll do is continue on to resecuring the lines. The lines should have some plastic clips, which you would have the lines in, and then slide the plastic clips up into the fan assembly. Get that in there. As you can tell, these lines right here are leaking a little bit. I'm going to replace those. I'm going to put another clip right here. There we are. Let's continue on to the lower panel. Slide this into place. Once you feel as though you have it in place, you can continue on with your 4 push clips. Now we'll insert our 7mm mounting bolts. Okay friend, we finished installing our cooling fan assembly in our vehicle. At this point, go ahead and hop in the passenger compartment. Start up the vehicle, let it run for a little while and get up to normal operating temperature. Once it's done so, you should find that the cooling fan will turn on. After it's done that, you can go ahead and close the hood and then take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.